Infants and Child, or the WIC program. And for years, as a professional educator, we had to rely on government assistance to raise our family. This all took place after Scott Walker and the Republican legislature removed my teachers' union of the ability to collective bargain. The Republican administration and the legislature that prevented my family from having a decent living wage also stripped our schools of the funding that we need to educate the over 800,000 students in our public schools. My children, Lucy, age 10, Charlie, age 8, and Cora, age 6, they are just 3 out of over 800,000 children that rely on our state government to pull its weight and support public education. Despite Governor Evers' efforts to at least improve that shortfall that was left by the Walker administration, the Republicans in the legislature are doing everything in their power to limit the funds that our communities so desperately need. We are here at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh Fox Cities, a school that is set to close next year. It is not the only campus impacted by Republican cuts to higher education. UW-Oshkosh-Fond du Lac, that is near me, it also closed for all-person instruction this last year. We are feeling the impact of that closure. And when the campus behind us closes its doors next year, it will be felt all throughout the Fox Valley. And let me be clear, just like our underfunded schools, these campus closures are the result of Republican refusals to meet the needs of our students. At the end of the day, Republican politicians are too focused on doing what is best for them rather than doing what is best for our kids. They've sold out our kids time and again, shoveling taxpayer money to private choice schools while our public schools struggle. Because of Republicans' refusal to properly fund education, they force voters across the state to vote on referendums to keep their schools afloat. The superintendent at my school just a few months ago warned that we are facing a major deficit and may need to put a referendum on the ballot in the near future. Then just a few days ago, our school board received an updated timeline with the possibility of going to referendum next April. Unfortunately, my district is not the only one that has to make this difficult decision. Since 2018, communities across Wisconsin have passed over 500 school district referendums to increase public funding in our local schools. Taxpayers shouldn't have to raise our own taxes to fund our schools. Our legislature should give our kids the support they need in the first place. But Republican politicians have proven that they won't do what's right for our kids. We need to start voting for politicians like Chris and Lori across the region who will fund our public schools. Thank you. I will now hand things over to Representative Lori Palmieri.
Good afternoon. I'd like to point out that we are located at the juncture of Opportunity Way and Compassion Way on Midway Road. Very fitting for the topic today. I'm State Representative Lori Palmieri for the 54th Assembly District. As was mentioned, we're here today to talk about Republicans' failures in the legislature to adequately fund public education in the state from K through 12 education through our university system. Not only are Republicans failing our students by not funding these schools, but they're also playing games with money that could be spent to help kids get ahead, such as Opportunity Way. The Republicans' decade-long attack on K-12 education and higher education is personal to me. I'm an alum of the UW Oshkosh at Fox Cities, proud pin-wearing alum, UW Oshkosh and UW Milwaukee. This school and the others saved my life and made it possible for me to get a degree as a non-traditional student. It's sad to know that students like me won't have the same opportunities that I did because of Republican games. Unfortunately, closures like the one here and in Fond du Lac are just, and these are just one of 6 UW campuses that will close at the end of this academic year due to budget problems. And an independently conducted audit found that only three UW campuses may be able to meet their expenses over the next 5 years. Legislative Republicans have repeatedly failed to support Wisconsin kids, and today we're seeing the consequences of this underfunding coming to a head. When I was elected to the legislature, I made it a priority to fight for our public higher education system. I introduced Assembly Bill 990, which sought to expand the tuition promise to provide funding for eligible students at all state-funded UW institutions so that our kids are able to get a high-quality education right here in Wisconsin. When we refuse to invest in higher education, students seek education outside of the state, making them more likely to leave Wisconsin after graduation and set down roots somewhere else. Somewhere else. It might be selfish of me, but as a proud mom and grandmother, I want my kids and my grandkids to stay nearby, and I'm disappointed that we'll have fewer public options because of these Republican failures. Republicans in the legislature and those looking to represent this region, like Dean Crawford in Assembly District 53 and Anthony Phillips, State Senate District 18, should be asked to account for why Republicans seem comfortable with our state ranking 43rd in the nation for public education. Our underserved public schools are slowly recovering after Scott Walker and the GOP's neglect of our kids, but they'll only truly recover with the Democratic majority in the legislature that will prioritize public education. We know that public education, a strong education, is a way out of poverty and helps folks avoid the prison industrial complex. Let's do this. Let's do something for our kids. Thank you. And Chris Alfheim is here to speak further on the topic. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. My name is Chris Alfheim. I'm a candidate for State Senate District 18. It's great to be here to talk about schools and educations right before the kids head back to school. I know they're excited, but it is a little bittersweet. We're here outside the UW System campus that is actually scheduled to close its doors after next school year. And that's why we're here today, to talk about why the Republicans' failure to invest in public education for both K through 12 schools and universities, and how our kids are paying the price because of it. It wasn't too long ago that Wisconsin was known for our outstanding university system. It was the model that the whole country tried to replicate. But around 15 years ago, politicians in Madison began slowly deprioritizing its importance. Funding was reduced, resources were cut, and now we found ourselves in a place where our once national model higher education system is on its knees, in 43rd. We're closing schools, bickering about giving educators raises, and going as far as using UW schools as bargaining chips and political pawns to advance an extreme partisan agenda. But thankfully, we're about to slam the door shut on that era. I'm running for state senate on the simple idea that maybe, just maybe, people in Wisconsin like me are tired of the bickering, the gridlock, the dysfunction, and are ready to actually get things done. I'm running for state senate on a simple idea. Oh, I just did that. One of my opponent's top priorities is to take advantage of taxpayers by funneling our tax dollars into private and religious schools, rather than our public schools. That's the last thing we need. I'm running for state senate to ensure that every child in Wisconsin, no matter the zip code that they live in, have access to the best public education that we can provide. And then, should they decide to go on to a four-year university, a community college, or a technical college, along with every step of the way to ensure that Wisconsin's idea is still alive. So for the parents dropping off your kids for the first day of school, to the students who are walking in the classroom, to the educators who have been working around the clock to get ready for this day, now we have your backs. Know that we have your backs. And we're fighting to make sure that you have the resources available to you to learn and to teach to the best of your abilities. And in Madison, you can best believe that we're going to reflect those values in how we legislate. We'll now open it for any questions. Thanks for coming. Nice. If I only had 20-year younger eyes, that'd be easier.
I put 14 foot. I mean, I basically
Oh,
made
that's
it
solid.
as big
normally the best
as big
We had
to still fit onto one sheet.
Yep, we like that one. I had sent a message, but did send the print off, and it's usually